Today's Rational Hour is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the best platform out if you're looking to start a podcast. The best thing about Anchor is available on every streaming service like Apple and Spotify and many more. Anchor allows you to edit and record your show all in one from your phone or your computer. It's really the best thing out. If you're looking to start a show, check it out today. Download it today at anchor.com.
I know the game like I officiate. No line feeling like Floyd at his greatest. Game plans get exploited, coach, you best to change it. Cause when I'm locked in, I'm buried with the loaded bases. Look at they faces, I got them switching places. Slower than the matrix, shots you taking, I anticipated. Yeah, I know you hate it, but facts you gotta face it. Max contract, no trade clause, ask my agent. Fly it in the angel boy, running things just like McCoy. Many imitate, but they ain't ballin' like your boy. Many say they working hard, but they ain't working like your boy. Strong big body attitude like I'm on the roids. Championship, champagne shower. Look at the time, it's rational hour. Championships and champagne showers. Look at the time, it's rational hour.
Welcome to the Rational Hour. Ryan, on today's show, we have a legend in the building. This Major League vet played 19 years in the league, earning multiple All-Stars, Silver Sluggers, led the league in home runs twice, and is also wearing a little jewelry. He won the Braves to win the World Series in 1995. Please help me welcome the class of 2023 Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Fred, the Crime Dog McGriff. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. Great to be with you.
Appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Tremendous career, Fred. I just want to congratulate you on making the Hall. How did it feel when you got the call knowing that you were being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Just totally blessed. I mean, it's a great honor to be elected into the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's an elite group. You know, I think it's 41 lifetime Hall of Famers. So to be included in that group is awesome. I think it's 74 something living Hall of Famers. So it's an elite group.
And for you to earn a unanimous decision by your peers, all 16 voted you in. I mean, that's a huge thing, and that shows you were truly respected by your peers.
Yeah, especially when you get in unanimous with your players, because the players they've seen you play and so forth, and they recognize that you're a good player.
Now, taking our audience back, Fred, growing up in Tampa, Florida, what was a typical day in the life for you growing up in your household?
Well, I was born and raised in Tampa, and so in Tampa, a lot of baseball in Tampa, going back to the Cincinnati Reds used to have spring training in Tampa, and so I lived less than a mile away from where the Cincinnati Reds had spring training. So I spent a lot of time going to the Cincinnati Reds games and their practices and so forth. So I grew up they played at a place called Lopez Field. So I spent a lot of time at Lopez Field trying to get bats and balls and et cetera going there. And so Tampa is kind of like baseball has been big in Tampa for a whole lot of years, and it's probably 70 or 80 Major League Baseball players have come from Tampa. So it's just something in the water or something that a lot of players, even to this day, you have the Pete Alonsos and Kyle Tuckers that are playing up in the big leagues now that are from Tampa. So it's just something about Tampa.
How important were your parents as far as your career and being the man that you become?
Well, they're very important. Your parents, they laid the groundwork, and they taught me right from wrong, and they were always there just supporting me. They didn't push me into baseball, but they were there to ride me, take me to my practices and so forth, and be there support. Financially, back in the day, Little League Baseball was $35, $40 that the parents had to pay to play for Little League Baseball, and so they supported me that way, and they were always there. They were always there for me, and just made sure I got to my practices and so forth. So they were a big part in my success.
Okay. Thomas Jefferson High School baseball program produced a lot of great baseball players. Luis Gonzalez, Tino Martinez, Tony La Russa, yourself. How did you transition from West Tampa Little League going on to the Dragons?
Well, I mean, Tampa has produced a lot of great players, like you say, but West Tampa Little League was a big-time Little League in Tampa growing up, and so it was a great Little League, and they were well supported and so forth, and that's where it started out for me. And then I transitioned from West Tampa Little League to Jefferson High School, and I got cut my first year trying out for the team in high school, but I made the team the next year, and so I was able to go on from there and kept developing up as a player and played well enough to get drafted by the Yankees in 1981. So I wasn't a first-round pick because, you know, like I said, I didn't make the team in out of high school back in 79, but I continued to improve enough to be drafted in the 9th round in 1981, and my dream was to play in the big leagues, and so I got that opportunity by getting drafted, and so I decided to sign with the Yankees out of high school.
In 81, when you left Thomas Jefferson, you had several offers to go D1. Was it a shoo-in for you to go into the draft and stay into the process of going into the MLB farm system, or were you thinking of going to university where your parents kind of pushed you on the way?
Well, my parents always let me decide what I want to do and everything, and my mind was set on playing professional baseball. Like I said, I grew up watching the Cincinnati Reds during spring training, and so that was my dream, and so they weren't going to stop me if I wanted to go play pro ball. So I decided to go and give it a shot. And my first year, I hit like 148, so things weren't looking good. But I continued to fight.
Okay. Now, in 82, you get traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. You spend your first 6 seasons with the Yankees and Blue Jay farm system. During that time, you endured a couple injuries, platoon positions. Before you get the call up in 86, how did you feel once you got that time to go up to the big show?
Well, the Blue Jays, they'll always be in my heart because they gave me an opportunity because I got traded in 82. I hit real well against the Blue Jays in 1982 when I was with the Yankees. And so the Blue Jays traded for me that off season. And so the Blue Jays gave me a chance. They developed me in the minors, and they gave me an opportunity in 1986. I went up for 10 days. Cliff Johnson went on disabled list, and they gave me an opportunity. I got sent down once Cliff Johnson 10 days was up, and he went back to the big league team. I got sent back down to the minors, and so that was tough because you get called up and you call all your friends and tell them that you're going up to the big leagues, and then 10 days later you get sent down, and so you got to tell them that you got sent back down, and so that was tough, but that was a great experience.
Part of those young Toronto teams. Now, did you hit the first home run in the Rogers Center?
Skydome. It was called Skydome.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in 1990, you're involved, in my opinion, with the biggest trades in Major League Baseball history when yourself and Tony Fernandez were traded to the San Diego Padres for Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter. That was such a blockbuster trade. So many great players involved. How did you feel it was for you to go start life on the West Coast?
Well, it was awesome in the sense where, usually when you get traded, the other team wants you on that team and so forth. And I knew that the writing was on the wall because I knew Pat Gillick had played with John Olaru's dad and so forth. And so the Blue Jays had drafted John Olaru, so I knew the writing was on the wall. And so I got a chance to play in San Diego. It was an awesome experience, and to be able to go with Tony Fernandez, who rest in peace. Tony was a great player. I love Tony. He was awesome. For Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar, that was a huge trade.
Yeah, Tony was at the time multiple-time Gold Glover, so it was a huge trade. Obviously, with such great players being involved. Now in San Diego, they had such a great young core of talent with yourself, Tony Gwynn, Bip Roberts, Gary Sheffield, Benito Santiago. How special could that core group of young players have been if they would have kept you guys together in San Diego?
Yeah, we had a great team, and once I got traded to the Braves, those guys told me like they were scared of the Padres and so forth, but management decided that baseball wasn't going to work in San Diego, so they had a fire sale, and they traded myself, Gary Sheffield, and a few other guys, Bruce Hurst and everything. They traded them because they said baseball wasn't going to work in San Diego. But we had a great team.
Wow. That was something that you were hearing within the media, that San Diego wouldn't support baseball?
Well, the owner, Tom Warner, the owner at the time, decided that baseball wasn't going to work in San Diego.
Wow. Now, Fred, in '94, to me, one of the greatest All-Star games of all time. Take our audience back. You broke the game open with that game-tying home run. It actually broke a 6-game losing streak by the National League. Craig Biggio really, to me, made a great play at bat before you came up, where he beat out a throw from third to set up the game-tying run. What was that game like for you, and what can Major League Baseball do to get games back to how it used to be during that time?
Well, the National League had that losing streak at the time, and so I was able to come in. I know Tony Gwynn had a big hit to win the game, if I recall. But I hit a big home run against Lee Smith, opposite field to left field, to tie up the game and so forth. But it was just great memories because you're playing with great ball players and so forth, and to be able to hit a home run in the All-Star game, that's always a special memory and so forth. But the game has changed a lot over the years because now they've expanded the rosters, and they're trying to avoid a tie game and so forth. So a lot of rules have changed in the All-Star game, so they don't have a tie score. It's just so they've changed in that sense. So it's tough to get back to those All-Star days. But it was a special moment. Lee Smith, Hall of Fame, great pitcher. But I was able to come off the bench. Sitting on the bench for 8 innings is tough. Mm-hmm. Then to finally get in the game, and then you end up hitting a home run, it's a special moment. Yeah,
that was one of the greatest games. And Moises Alou, actually, I believe, was the one that hit that run. That I think it was a gap to left, and Gwen came in and scored the run to win the game.
Okay.
Now, your old teammate, Deion Sanders, I believe you guys spent a little time in Atlanta together. During your time of your, really, the peak of your career in the mid-'90s, Deion was there. Atlanta was just one of the hot spots in the sports world. What was it like to have Deion as a teammate, and how good could he have been if he would have stuck with baseball as his main sport?
Deion was awesome. Deion was a great athlete. Deion was funny. I mean, as you know, from just listening to him in his locker room speeches and on TV and everything, he's a funny gentleman, but he was a great athlete. And so Deion could run still. He had a lot of great tools and everything. But football was, Deion's number one. But he was just a great athlete and just a joy to play with. It's like it was never a dull moment playing with Deion. he was gonna make you laugh 24/7.
Yeah, he has that energy about him. You could tell with what he's doing now with the kids. You gotta
no doubt.
respect his whole movement with Coach Prime.
Yeah, Coach Prime. That's what you call me. Call me Coach Prime.
Coach Prime, man. Yeah. I hope he does well in Colorado. I know he will.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
Now, in '95, the World Series versus Cleveland, you hit a home run on your first at bat in the World Series. You hit another one in Game 3. You guys ended up winning the series in 6 games. How important was it to win a championship in your career? And is it important for a player's success, in your opinion, if they win a championship during their career, if they're successful or not?
No, I wouldn't classify winning and losing a World Series to justify your career, because it's all about your teammates and so forth, and you got to be surrounded with some good teammates. You know, baseball is it's a team game, it's an individual game, and individually when I'm up there hitting, nobody can help me, but it's a team game. You can't win if you don't have good teammates around you. So it's a combination of both. But in 1995 we were able to pull it together. Braves had come up short for a lot of years, and to finally come together in 95. It's the ultimate. As a player, everybody wants to win a World Series. It's the ultimate. Everybody's goal, starting their spring training is to try to win a World Series, and so to finally come together in 1995 and do it, it was awesome.
Now, Fred, I'm going to give you a couple names, and if you could just give me what comes to mind when you hear the name.
All right.
Ron Gant.
Awesome. Great player, strong. Just got to be heads up, because he gonna throw that bat, or he gonna throw something. Be heads up.
Bobby Cox.
Awesome manager. I mean, he kept everybody in line, man. He was the guy. He was the man.
Cecil Fielder.
Awesome. Cecil, we got traded together Cecil came from the Royals. He got traded in 1982 to the Blue Jays, and I got traded in 1982 from the Yankees. And so we came up together over the years in the minors with Toronto, and Cecil was a great hitter. Cecil was a great athlete, more than people think, but Cecil was a great athlete with great power.
Jose Canseco.
Another strong individual, great player. Over the years, I enjoyed playing with him in Tampa.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Special, great swing. As a opposing player, you watch Ken Griffey Jr. swing, and you were just impressed with his swing and the way he hit breaking balls, fastballs. He hit everything. Just awesome baseball player.
And last one, Tony Gwynn.
Special. Tony Gwynn was special because I watched him have the same, as me as a player, I changed my stance a lot. And so to watch Tony Gwynn with the same stance and same, just everything, mechanics, every single day was awesome.
Yeah,
best hitter I played with. Yep.
Best hitter you played with, Tony Gwynn.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Fred, who were some of the guys you hated or that you knew you had to be really locked in? I know you were probably locked in every game, but when they were on the bump, you knew that you had to be on your A game. Pitchers.
Well, usually a left-handed pitcher. Randy Johnson was tough, but there's a lot of guys other than Randy that I faced in the minors and in the big leagues that were tough. Because right-handers, you've seen the ball good. You grew up facing a lot of right-handed batters, and so you never feared right-handed pitchers. But lefties were a little tougher.
Now, lastly, Fred, what would you say if you could sit and have dinner with two people dead or alive? Who would they be?
Ooh, that'd be tough. But I would say Hank Aaron. I've met Hank Aaron, but never sat down and had dinner with him. I had a 5-10 minute conversation with him in spring training. But Hank, because if you look at Hank Aaron numbers are just unbelievable from his his hits, his home runs. Like I was read, it's something like he had 3,000. If you take away his home runs, he still had 3,000 hits.
Wow.
Taking away his home runs. And so Hank was just awesome. So Hank Aaron and I'm not sure. That's a good question. Maybe Tiger or something. Tiger Woods, just to pick his brain on my bad golf swing.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Fred, man, thank you, and again, congratulations on being inducted into the class of 2023. And
appreciate
just coming on our show and bless our listeners on your insight of your career and life. Really appreciate you taking the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Fred McGriff, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.